Today, I want to do a jersey countdown video. Now, I'm not going to do the massive jersey countdown that I did last summer. I don't plan to do that this summer either. Last year, I did like top 280. Yeah. And it was just it got to the point where it was like, oh wow, this sucks, and it did, because it got to the point where it was just they were longer videos, and especially in the middle, I was like, man, what did I get myself into? But once you've started a series like that, you have to finish it. You can't just say, well, I've reached 140, I'm just going to scrap it, because that's not how that works. I don't work that way at all. Even if a video series isn't necessarily that popular, I still keep going. As a for instance, the looking back on classic playoff series not getting great views right now, I will still continue to do that series, because once I've started something, I do finish it. Not last summer, but the summer before, I did a history series where I looked at all 100 years of the NHL's history, and I did summaries of each season and what happened in each year. And again, at the start of that series, the view counts were okay, and then they just dropped way off when you get into the 20s, 30s, 40s. And yet I still kept doing one every day. So that's important, I think, when you start a series, to finish it. I've seen other YouTubers that start doing something and then they go, I'm going to drop this. And I always think, yeah, don't drop it. Because while many subscribers will skip those videos, there are some that really want to see that. So you're not alienating those ones, but you're disappointing those subscribers. And I don't like to disappoint subscribers if I can avoid it. So there you go. Today it's top 20, just the Adidas. Just Adidas, the top 20 that I own. And if it's been produced, I basically have it, because this is this is the parlay jersey from last year of Vegas, and I got it because I thought, you know what, I don't have enough Vegas jerseys because there's only two, and Vegas doesn't show up in this countdown. There are certain teams that don't show up in this countdown. When I cut it off at 20, it cuts off a lot. Now I'm going to go through and try to catalog my jerseys, and we'll do countdown videos this summer, but I'm not doing a top 300. I'm not doing a top 280 like last summer. I think it's better to make that wait another year. And so make it so that it's not just people looking at the playlist and going, well, it's basically the same as last year. There hasn't been enough change to make it worthy of doing that much with it. Yes, I've got new jerseys. A lot of the Adidas I get are replacements for Reeboks. They're an upgrade over the Reeboks in most cases because of the state of the logos. But it, again, doesn't warrant making a whole new video series this summer. That being said, we are going to go into the top 20. I'm also going to do something a little different with this. I'm going to do a bit of a comparison. So number 20 is the Leafs Centennial jersey, or Stadium jersey, I should say. Sorry, the Centennial one's right there, and I wanted to make sure I didn't mix them up, and I just said one instead of the other. So this is the Stadium jersey from when they played against the Capitals. That Caps jersey won't be in here. This one's fantastic. The funny thing is, the All-Star jersey this year, not entirely dissimilar. So I got the Toronto Maple Leafs, the All-Star jersey, because it did kind of feel reminiscent of this. And I thought, I really like this. The stripes on this year's All-Star jerseys are amazing. It doesn't really show up on camera just how much they sparkle. But it's kind of fun. And the All-Star jerseys have dropped in price. Ben H Sports, where I got this one, he's just dropped his price tremendously. And they're on sale on Sport Check as well. So if you were on the fence about whether or not to get one of these, now's a good time to pick one up. But this is number 20. What I really like on this is honor, pride, courage on the sleeve. I love the stripes like this. I did a video after where I had the Centennial, which is blue, this one, which is white, and said, I think these would look better than the current Maple Leafs jerseys. But their home and away stay as they are. The home and away are not in this video. So this is number 20. Number 19, and I miss the red one too. And yet this one was a pretty fantastic replacement. I do find it weird when a stripe goes halfway around. So you have it around the front and then not around the back. I don't know if that's so that they can say, hey, we didn't completely copy Montreal. But, I like the M on the shoulders. I've always liked the logo. People know this. And I like the red right here in the neck. Just a really sharp, clean jersey. Looks classic. Speaking of classics, I can't wait to see their Winter Classic next year, because Minnesota can do something amazing with Winter Classic jerseys next year, and I am really, really anticipating adding that to my collection. Number 18. Now, This says Stanley Cup Final on it. Every now and then people will see that I've got this Stanley Cup here on a Bruins jersey and they're like, does he think he won? Does he think they won it? No. It just says Stanley Cup Finals 2019. So this is the current Boston Bruins black jersey. Honorable mention to their throwback that they brought out this year with the yellow B on the front, which I didn't like a whole lot at first, but you know what? It's grown on me. It is not in the top 20. This one is. This is one of 2 Bruins jerseys you'll see in this countdown. I am quite happy with this one, and I was happy that I got their white Adidas as well because that was tough to track down. But once I got it, quite happy. So yeah, Boston in the top 20. This is kind of topical since St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow and all. The St. Pats. So number 17. Yeah, number 17. There you go. March 17th, 17. That was good unintentional placement. I've always liked St. Patrick's jerseys. I have a green Toronto Maple Leafs St. Patrick's jersey with Sundin on the back. I just think they're really sharp. And it's a divisive thing because they sell out or they sit, it seems. Like the first time these came out, they sold out pretty quick. And right now I do see sales on St. Patrick's jerseys. So I'm not sure why they're not selling as well as they did the first time around. Or maybe they overstocked them this time and they didn't stock enough the first time. I know that happens with the All-Star jerseys as well. But it's a really sharp one. What I like is, and this is something I talked about before, I'm always happy when you see a heritage or a throwback or a third that's white. I really think that home teams wearing white jerseys, just it's something that us traditionalists really like. And so I like to see a third that's a white jersey. Because part of the reason we switched to home darks is the dark jerseys sell better. So you want them to be sporting those at home. More likely to sell more jerseys. And your third jerseys, your special jerseys, are normally dark colored as well. So they can wear those at home then as well. So it's one of the reasons they switched. And again, I'd be perfectly fine with switching back. But we have other things to worry about right now, don't we? Honorable mention to their red jersey, which is not on this countdown. It missed, but this is fantastic. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the double flag. But while I am not a huge fan of the double flag, the overall design of this jersey, the heathered sleeves, fantastic. The coal gray shoulders. Sorry, I got an itch, and I'm trying not to. Anyways, don't touch your face. Got it. And then, of course, there's the hurricane flags inside the neck there. It's really nice. I've been a fan of this from the day they revealed it, other than, again, the double flag. It's too long, and I don't know how you fix that. And so I'm perfectly fine with this. I'm just really surprised when they redesigned their away jersey that now says Canes. It's not on the countdown. The red one was close to being on this countdown, but it's not quite there. I was really surprised they didn't just use this, put it on a white jersey, still have the heathered sleeves, and you'd have a winning road jersey. But they went with the Canes logo, which, again, some people love that, some people don't. I don't have it in one of my top jerseys, but it is in the collection. You knew this one was coming if you've been a fan of my channel for more than a couple months, in all likelihood. This one's number 15, which is low considering how high it was when I first got my first jersey. The first Avalanche third. I got it 4 years ago today. Facebook memories reminded me that I had taken a picture of myself in this jersey 4 years ago today. So, the Reebok version was then replaced by the Adidas version that you see here. Adidas is just the logos are in general nicer. They're just cleaner. I'm not a huge fan of certain aspects of Adidas jerseys either, and I always see those comments, but they've done a very nice job with the logos, a very nice job in general. And of course, you can see this mountain here, which was used, this sort of design here used on the Avalanche Stadium, which is not in the countdown, but kudos to them on trying something completely different. But this is a really nice one, and it kind of pays homage to the Colorado Rockies as well, without being ugly like those Colorado Rocky jerseys kind of sort of are. And I wear my Colorado Rockies. I've got home and away. I love them, but yeah, they're kind of ugly. As a little kid, they were one of my favorites, but remember, my favorite was the Flying V. So take all that with a grain of salt. Number 14. You know, the funny thing is, when the Jets went back to Winnipeg and they revealed these jerseys, I thought, it's kind of weird how the stripes overlap with stripes. And I don't know, the logo I thought was kind of, I know, RCAF, I know, but I thought it was kind of not as good as what they had in the 80s and in the early 90s. This is my, of course, Scheifele jersey, and it's a nice one. I really like it, and honestly, when I saw Jets jerseys in person, and I took a really good look at them, I started to appreciate them a lot more. And over the years, that appreciation's only grown. I really like the shoulder patches. I think when they went with the blue one, which is not on like the word mark, the light blue word mark one that they have now for the third, I think a lot of us kind of wanted to see this on the front of a jersey or some version of this. So when they went with that word mark, we kind of went, all right. And so we were, or this on that light colored blue, this blue. Oh, that would just be gorgeous. But you got to take what you can in this case. And so the Jets, pretty nice jersey overall. I'm gonna throw this one in the wash as soon as we're done here because I see just little things, and it's that kind of stuff that drives me nuts. Never throw a jersey in the dryer. It's the number one piece of advice I can give people about making your jersey last longer. When I used to throw my jerseys in the dryer, they didn't last very long. So definitely throw them away from the dryer. Not preferably on the floor, but yeah, air dry them. Do not throw them in the dryer. It's the best piece of advice that I can give anybody who wants to make sure their jersey lasts longer, because it all falls apart. But this one, I'm very proud to say as well, the number and nameplate all sewn on by my wife. I ordered the numbers and nameplate when this jersey got damaged at a meetup. I'm not going to say that Jordan did it because he doesn't like it when I call him out publicly, so I'm not going to mention Jordan at all. Because honestly, it's one of those things where you don't mention Jordan's name just because he was the one that ran you over on camera at a meetup. It just seems so horrible to mention Jordan by name, so I'm not going to do it. All right, next up. Number 13, Blackhawks. And yeah, this is with the neckline that all Blackhawks hate. Blackhawks fans seem to hate, where it's red all the way around here. But the white one, it really isn't as distracting as it was on the red one. So I did get the new neckline on the red Blackhawks. I don't know that people necessarily mention it in the comments when I wore it the first time. They're like, wait, he did get it. Yeah, I found a deal on it. So this Hawks, which... Sorry, I just noticed there's a pull on the front. That's usually from Bear. The reason that my jerseys are over in this corner rather than being spread out is because if they're over here, the little cat down here that's giving the very guilty look, she will climb across the top. Well, she doesn't always stay up there, so she falls down. And if she falls down, she tries to grab jerseys on the way down. So I try to keep them away from her so she doesn't jump up on top. All right, what I really like with Hawks jerseys, well, I try to ignore the pull in this one, is the chain stitch logos. Now, I hadn't really noticed the chain stitching in all my premier jerseys and replicas, and I didn't think it was a big deal until I actually saw one of the chain stitched in person, and I went, yeah, that ruins Blackhawks jerseys for me forever. It's just the quality difference is huge, and they're all hand done. It's the same woman that makes all of them. She makes all the logos, and it's fantastic. So if you get a Hawks jersey and you compare it to another one, you may very well find small differences in the way that they're stitched, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's kind of how you know you've got the real deal there. Because again, when you're hand stitching all this, there's going to be little issues with it. And that's just how that works. The one thing with Hawks jerseys, they're tricky. I try not to wear them very often. If I'm going to wear one out in public, I try to make sure I'm wearing the replicas that don't have the chain stitch, because the fabric it pulls easy, and it's really easy for it to fray. And once it starts to fray, it can start to look like a mess pretty quick. So just with Hawks jerseys, honestly, my suggestion would be if you have a genuine like the Adidas, then wear that somewhere that you know it's not going to get beat up a lot. If you know you're going to be in a situation where you might drop beer on something, don't wear the Adidas, because again, I try to make sure I don't wear them often and I don't have to wash them often. And then shabams, so I took it upstairs. My wife pulled the thread through that was up here, and she pulled the snag through as well, so they're on the inside, so they're not visible anymore. So again, if you don't have a wife that's really handy, if there's a local seamstress that you know, or maybe a neighbor, this is the time where they tell you to check up on your neighbors. Take your jerseys out and look for a neighbor. This is where it might help if you have an old lady in your neighborhood. You're like, hey, I'm checking on her health, and while I'm checking on your health, old lady, here's a bunch of jerseys you can fix. And when she says, I don't really do that, you can go, you're old, you can learn. Sorry, we'll move on to the next one. We're up to the Bruins Winter Classic from last year. Now this one's kind of an odd one too. So the fabric that's in this now, it's all fuzzy. When I saw that the B was fuzzy, and I noticed that on a game, I was like, okay, now I need it. And then I found out too that while this looks black on camera, it's brown. So they're brown and yellow, which was the color that they had because the owner had a store that was the store's colors, so he gave that to the Bruins as well. So that's kind of a weird fact, but I found that out when I was doing my history videos. So the Bruins, it's nice. The one thing with this is, of all the logos, this one's sort of really, it feels like that it's almost like, I think that, yeah, this is felt here. And because of the fabric, I do worry about, this is another one too that I worry if you wear it too much, might get all kind of raggedy looking. There's already like a warp that goes on in here. Again, you can't really see it on camera, but actually, yeah, you kind of can. Right up in here, where it's kind of warped a bit. So I don't know how much wear and tear these jerseys can take, to be honest. This logo makes it a little iffy. But I really liked it. I love that it's got their Stanley Cups in here in shamrocks. That's a fantastic design. And so this ends up at we're at number 12. Number 11, and Sabres fans, here you go. Here's your 50th, and it's got all the logos that they all hate right in here. So you got the original, you've got the goat head, as it's called, the crossed swords, which was never their official logo, and the Buff-a-Slug right there, and then 50 right in the middle. So I'm not sure what you call all of this, what you can summarize that ad as, 5 decades of change, or the more things change, the more we go back to our original logo. I don't know. But I love this jersey, and one thing about the 50th anniversary jersey is I kind of hope they find a way to keep it somehow. Now, the LA Kings did it with their 50th, where they just took the gold out of it. You take the gold out of this, it loses something. But the depth you get in this buffalo with the gold, and you can kind of see it there with all the lines, it's just fantastic. The other buffalo jerseys I have are not in this countdown. The Winter Classic was close. Because the Winter Classic one has kind of the faux leather, the pleather buffalo on it, which is really nice as well. But this is a pretty fantastic overall jersey. And again, 50 years. This is why the Canucks, when they released their 50th, we all went, like they had the skate and then they had the throwback sort of stick and rink, and it was just sort of meh, because this is so nice. We have controversy at number 10. This is the Whalers green with hurricane flags in the neck, and of course this is the throwback that they wore. I didn't get upset with them wearing this because the Whalers aren't coming back. They're not going to go back to Hartford. So as a result, I'm okay with this. It's the same reason that if the Avalanche at some point wanted to wear Nordique's throwback, I would be totally fine with that, because odds are right now not likely to get the Nordiques back. The Canadian dollar right now, last I saw, was down to like 69 cents US. That equals no Nordiques here, because everybody gets paid in American dollars in the NHL. So this is as close as we're going to get to a Hartford Whalers jersey, and it's nice. I'd like to see them do a white throwback as well. It was always my favorite logo because of HW. It's so nice. It's so simple. It's such a fantastic one. The only thing that they missed is the whale on the shoulders. That's the only thing that would have made this absolutely perfect, and it might have bumped it up higher on the countdown. Number 9, and you're going to see the Stars a couple of times in this countdown. No, their Winter Classic is not in it. So number 9 is the Dallas Stars, and of course I have the 25th anniversary. The reason I got that with the 25th anniversary was, at the time, Cool Hockey was having a sale. But you had to spend $200 to get the discount. The jersey's $199. So by adding this, I got the 30% discount, and I actually paid less than I would have if I didn't order it with the 25th anniversary logo. And it's a nice logo. It really is. For all of the many logos you'll see which are commemorative. I think that one's a really nice one. Dallas overall, it's nice, it's clean. When they did the rebrand, I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, and then they came out. I saw the logo first, and I thought, that's not too bad. And then I saw the jersey, and I'm like, actually, that's a really nice jersey, and it was better than the just Dallas word mark across the front, which you will not see at the top of any countdown that I have everywhere. I have both the home and away word mark jerseys. I'm not a fan of either. So this one, though, is in the top 10. Number 8, and the Chicago Blackhawks, which are widely regarded to have one of the best logos and styles in sports. This is the difference. So everybody went nuts about this, so they had to go to this. Not a major difference, but I got a really good deal on this. So I did. I got this for like 40% off. I think it was on Ice Jerseys, I want to say, and I thought, yeah, all right, I'll get it for that. It may have even been 50% off. I know it was cheaper than what it was supposed to be. And so I went, all right, I'll get the new one, and then I'll wear it in a video, and we'll see if anybody notices, and they didn't. So, again, I didn't think this was that egregious. It's not that much different than what the Montreal Canadiens wear, and I don't hear a lot of complaints about them needing to change. But Adidas listened, and they made a change. And it's up to you guys to decide which one you like better. These are not taking up different spots on the countdown because I don't think the difference warrants one being higher than the other. But let me know what you guys think. Up to number 7, and here comes the Sharks Stealth. So I know there are a lot of people that don't really like this one because it looks and it is kind of like the old Black Ice. And for people who might, what's the Black Ice? I did a video on that not too long ago. Black Ice and Black Accelerator. This has some similarities in that it's very monochromatic. It's very much just one color with black. But when you look at the actual sleeves, and you can see in the sleeve the letters S and J for San Jose, and it's like it's a computer circuit board. That sleeve, that one thing right in there makes this that much better. The one thing I do wonder is, could they ever incorporate that into the regular jerseys? When they got away from the orange in their jerseys and they dropped the stripes at the bottom. The San Jose jersey they wear right now, kind of boring. Like, it's not in the top 20, either the home or the away. I have both. And they're kind of boring, comparatively speaking, with what they had before. If they incorporated this aspect of the stealth jersey into the regular jerseys, I think it would make them that much nicer. I do. And I don't know that they ever necessarily do that, but I think it would make them that much nicer. It does kind of take away from the unique look of a stealth jersey, but if they moved away from this into a different third and then took this aspect and put it into the regular jerseys, I think it would look nicer. But again, let me know what you guys think. As I get into number 6, if you hear a cat snoring, it's either Pixel right there. No, it's Shadow. Shadow's snoring right now. So, and I do have this turned towards the jerseys rather than the cats for this video only, I promise. But his snoring, when I would do power rankings videos late on Saturday, it was just awful. Because I'd be like, okay, I'm already really, really tired. Hearing him snoring kind of makes me tired. And then it would just make me aware of just how tired I was. It was just bad. So number 6 is the Kachina, Arizona. And I know there are people who love this and people who can't stand it. I have this, and I have the original one, too, that says Phoenix Coyotes. There's not really any major difference between them other than that, and that this is a little bit wider than it is on the CCM throwback. So if you see the CCM throwback and you're like, which one should I get, Adidas or the CCM throwback? There isn't really a big difference. The logo is pretty much the same as well as what it was originally. It's a fantastic overall shirt, and what I like about it, and the reason that it gets a high ranking for me, is it's something different. Now, at the time that they moved from Winnipeg to Arizona, this was panned greatly, because first off, Canada was pretty mad they'd lost another team, and then the team goes with this when they get to Arizona. So they're like, wait, it's in the desert, and it looks like what is it? What is that? So yeah, this is one of my favorites now. Back at the time that they moved, if you'd asked me what the ugliest jersey in the league was, I would have said the white version of this. The black one I always liked, the white one not as much, although I do have the white one, and it's moved up my overall rankings now. But it's not going to be in this video because they didn't do it in Adidas yet. I would suggest doing this in a white one in Adidas as well. I'm also going to say that, and this video is a little bit longer. These jersey videos do tend to get longer. I'm going to do a video where I look through all 31 teams and I talk about aspects of jerseys that we, as fans watching on TV, or maybe just as a casual fan who hasn't seen some of these jerseys in person, may not pick up on. So there are certain design things in most jerseys that you may not pick up on, just again from watching on TV and all that. Now Dallas, fantastic green jersey. So the white one and the green one are both in this countdown. They're the only team that I have both the home and away jerseys in the top 20. I love this jersey. I remember when this debuted and I went, yeah, that's a sharp one. I love the color. I love the fact that it's something new and unique. The Dallas Stars with this one finally went with something that felt like they were no longer the Minnesota North Stars transplants. So this made them their own entity. So that if the Minnesota Wild came out with, for the Winter Classic, a Minnesota North Stars throwback, you're not going to look and go, well, that's basically a Dallas Stars jersey, isn't it? You're not going to say that now. It'll still have green in it, but that's pretty much it. Because they had yellow, and this drops the yellow from the whole conversation. Dallas, I do really, really like what they've done with their jerseys. I do. That being said, we could always have another third jersey. Now, the Winter Classic is not in this countdown. It did not make the top 20, but this year's Winter Classic was pretty sharp. So at 4, this is why I wanted the Jets to go back to this logo. So when they came out with that Jet logo that they currently have, I was disappointed because this was what I wanted back. Now, what's nice on these jerseys, and the white and the blue both do it, they have a chain stitch logo here. So much like Chicago, it's a nice chain stitching. Different fabric for this chain stitch, though, than the one for Chicago. Definitely made differently. But again, really, really sharp. This is this year's Winter Classic from 2019. If I had any complaint at all, it would have been that they didn't do something. I know it's a heritage. I know you want to do a throwback, and this was a throwback to their 70s jerseys. But if this part had been white, the lettering had been blue, the jet had been white, I just think it would have popped a little bit more. But again, those are minor quibbles. Just that the logo kind of gets lost in the fact that it's the same color as the background, but it's a minor problem. It really is. And to many fans, I'm sure it's not a problem because it was just a throwback to the 70s style that they had. I've always liked the neckline on these ones, and so, you know, really, really, really well done. Really, honestly, very, very well done. Number 3 is this beauty. So the Anaheim Ducks for their 25th anniversary right here, Anaheim Ducks silver season. They went with this throwback. So you got the eggplant here, you've got the teal here, you've got the current Ducks logo here, you've got the original Mighty Ducks logo here. Everything you'd want in a jersey is in it. It's a nice black color. I know people wanted the eggplant for the whole jersey, but they wanted to do something that paid homage to their entire history, and it did. And I'm glad I got it because this was the only year they made it. And I'm still, to this day, surprised that they went back to the orange one. The orange one does not make the top 20. So for people waiting for the orange one, it did not make the top 20. This did, and it's a sharp jersey. The fact that this logo is 3D, that it's like it bubbles out. Absolutely love it. Fantastic job. And yeah, so Ducks number 3. We're up to number 2, and of course it's the cannon. Everybody knows I love the cannon. Everything about it. What's not to love about it? I say it all the time. Columbus, add a white version of this, make them your home and away, and you have an automatic top seller league wide. Just I find it odd. I understand, you know, the Ohio flag and all that stuff. I understand the symbolism of their current home and away. But the cannon represents the Blue Jackets, and every time a goal is scored, they fire that cannon, and it's amazing. I really, really appreciate it. Just the significance of that, and in this, the cream color on the shoulders as well. We fight, we march in here, and the stars. It's a really, really great shirt. And I know it does look a lot like the Florida third that they had at one point, where they had the circle and they had. The Penguins had, and I'm going to do a video at some point too on jerseys that have very, very similar looks to one another. Again, this summer I plan to do something completely different with jersey videos where I talk about certain aspects of jerseys, colors that come and go, and that kind of thing. So for Columbus, this is fantastic. Please make it your regular jersey. So at number one, to the surprise of nobody that's been a fan of this channel for a long time, it's still this. This is the number one jersey in my Adidas collection. It is not number one overall. I did go through the list, obviously, for this video. It's not number one overall, but it's pretty darn close. I think it's number two right now. And honestly, this is last year's throwback. And, of course, this was in a Heritage Classic game as well. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful jersey that, yeah. Again, if Winnipeg at some point said, you know what, the Heritage jerseys are so popular, we're going to use them full time, go for it. This one I got through the Jets' actual website. I could not find one. And I kind of mentioned it on the channel, and people were like, hey, go to the True North website. They have it. And sure enough, they did. And I got one about a week later. So sometimes when I mention on the channel, hey, I can't find this, it's because I know somebody watching a video will know exactly where to find the jersey I'm looking for. So there you go. Top 20 Adidas currently in my collection. Honorable mention to a number of jerseys. And if you're upset about jerseys that aren't in this collection, now Blues fans are going to be like, where's all those Blues jerseys he's got? They're not in the top 20. Excellent, especially that throwback to the 90s. The yellow neckline is beautiful. Not in the top 20. It is tough to get into the top 20. Thank you guys so much for your time, your attention, and for watching. Thank you guys so much for everything. I know right now the outside world kind of is chaos. I'm here to provide just some regular, everyday normalcy. Thank you guys so much for everything. I'll talk to you again soon.